Good evening. Today is Monday, July 21st, 2025. It's date for Tuesday, the 22nd. All right, let's go. Not a fantastic day in the portfolio. It started a lot better than it ended, obviously. KGC did hit the 16 and change handle. If it gets fairly close to that 1650, don't split hairs on taking that initial profit target. There's not a lot here to get too excited about tonight. A lot of stocks are banging out new highs, so there is a lot of momentum out there, so that's a good thing. The lack of setups doesn't mean that there's not a lot of momentum. So I don't think that's of a concern at this point. But let's just hold off for now and see what shows up over the next few days. Let's take a look at portfolio. BTM started strong but ended weak. That's been a bit of a bummer there. Take a look at KGC pushing toward these all-time highs. I think it's all-time highs for this one. Yeah, all-time highs, which obviously would be a good thing if we could stay there. If it gets fairly close to the IPT, again, don't split hairs. Feel free to lock and load on that one. Katos, it's been on a tear as of late, as you know. It took off a little bit earlier, but then it came back, and it could actually use a break. I'd prefer if it just went straight up, but obviously stocks don't go straight to the sky, or trees don't grow to the sky, whatever the phrase is. TFPM, a little bit of bounce there, not bad. We'll take a look at gold in 1 second. TGen, a little bit of a rally, but then came back in, unfortunately, and VG coming back in once again. Let's take a look at the overall market, and we'll drill down a little bit. First of all, let's take a look at the Ps. S&P 500 pushed higher to all-time highs and then came back in, but did manage to close at all-time highs, so I'm not going to argue with that. But they are losing a little steam in here. I'd prefer to see some acceleration higher and then maybe like a flag back down. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ composite. Same sort of action there, off its best levels. Still up a little bit more than 30% and all-time highs, and persistent move so far remains intact there. So NASDAQ looking a little bit better than the Ps at the moment. Rusty 2000 kind of back to its old antics, selling off a little bit in here after trying to rally. It's got this overhead supply, as I've been saying ad nauseum, to overcome. Gold to commodity, decent rally there, not too far away from those brand new highs, so that's certainly a good thing. Gold stocks, nice little rally there. So far, it just looks like a sideways consolidation or base building, however you want to say that. As I thought I came up with, the bigger the base, the bigger the launch into space. But that's right, Ralph Acampora. He's a trip. By the way, he's a nice guy. Anyway, I told him that I borrowed his phrase. Biotech coming back in a little bit. Still has lots of overhead supply, but in general, there's still momentum within stocks within the sector. As I was saying last night, a lot of these sectors that are doing poorly, I don't talk about them every night because there's nothing to do there, but health services would be one of those, or healthcare providers, has been banging out new lows and obviously in a pretty serious downtrends. Robotics and AI, a little bit of an opening gap reversal there, outside day. It still has some overhead supply to get through. Cybersecurity, decent day there. So far, the prior little breakout levels are holding with that one. Ethereum's been doing really well as of late, off its best levels, but it's been pushing higher, trying to play a little catch-up to Bitcoin, which is pulling back a little bit as of late, but it has taken off, as you likely know. Defense pulling back a little bit, but it's been on a tear, so it could use a pullback. That's still looking pretty darn good. Let's take a look at software. Software kind of stalling out a little bit shorter term. That's a bit of a bummer because of the prior little peak in here. Let's take a look at the pot stocks. Trying to rally off of this big low. So far, it looks like they're trying to bottom out again. So far, so good there. Metals and mining overall closed at brand new highs. Tailed off the best levels, but new highs nonetheless. We'll probably see some possible setups here fairly soon. Platinum coming in a little bit, but it's been on a tear as of late. Ditto for palladium. You can see coming in a little, still up on the day, but coming in a little nonetheless. Uranium opening gap reversal there, still in a pretty serious uptrend, as you can see. Let's take a look at the semiconductors, and we'll wrap things up. Semiconductors tried to rally, came back in, up just a smidge on the day, hovering right around those all-time highs. I sure would like to see them get past this prior peak in here, but so far, overall, so good there. Cloud computing tried to rally, came back in, a little overhead supply. So some areas, again, still have overhead supply to deal with. That has been saying quite a bit. Solar stocks have been doing fairly well as of late. Decent rally today, But you guessed it, lots and lots of overhead supply there. I think that's pretty much it for tonight. Everybody have a fantastic night. If you have any questions, you know to retain. Thank you so much.